Mr. Saldana, Mr. Morgan has his hand up. Are you good with
Yeah,
that? Okay.
yeah, that was good.
Hey, thank you very much. Mr. Diaz or Sheriff Diaz, as Taryn mentioned, I did not know a lot about this 2503 a while ago, but I started to follow what George was saying because it became an issue and I saw it happening both to men and women. I've witnessed it up here. I'm from Dallas. I'm not from down in your area there. But I have talked with the DAs up here and also police officers to find out what the remedy is about this. Also, have spoken with legislators, representatives, and senators here in Texas. Even had a meeting with the Attorney General about this. So this has been a big issue because what's happening right now, and I've been to not every single hearing that Mr. Saldana has been involved with Judge Peak, but I've been to a lot of them, and I've seen it, and every time you think that you've seen something really bad, just wait till the next hearing. It gets worse,
Mhm.
and it's really amazing because here he is, a very loving father who loves his son, and for years he has been put on a leash as if he's a danger. I have I went out to Mineral Wells with a friend of mine. Same things we called the police officer. I spoke with the police officer. I had the penal code with me, read it, and he kind of yes, well, he didn't want to hear it, but he did. And then when he went to investigate the mother who was withholding the child at this time, he had his camera on and everything, and I could not believe what was going on, what he was saying. It was almost as if he were trying to act like the white knight, and the person who just wants to see his children is being skewered and slandered and portrayed in a very bad light. And I know these people, and that is not them. There's another guy out here, Parker County, the same thing. He's been denied by a judge to see his son for 3 years. It gets to the place that his son wants to live with his father, and the judge will let him go to a school in another state, a boarding school, because the mother just does not want the son to live with the father. And again, I mean, this is the situation that he can't even see his son. And there seems to be no remedy. I was in a situation, this didn't happen to me with my own children. Well, kind of it did, but I was the one that was watching my grandchildren. And I went out to see my daughter. She had two children out of wedlock after my wife got her divorce and did whatever she did and so on. The police came to arrest me when I went out there 2 days after Christmas to give them some money. I wasn't even in front of their house. I was beside it. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I've been, I was a person who's gone to seminary. I've been in the ministry, been in missions overseas, worked with refugee people in the Middle East. I mean, I'm not one of these people that you would say, oh man, this guy just the scum of the earth. And I'm not saying that I'm the cream of the crop either. I'm just saying that I work for the federal government. I've had background checks. I've had top secret clearances and above. And yet I was shocked to see the way that I got treated, and that the moment somebody makes an allegation, the allegation is considered to be true, and the person who's saying, wait a minute, I'm just here to see my son, my grandson, my daughter, I want to give them a Christmas present, and they get treated like they're criminals. And with Mr. Saldana, this has been the case from what I've seen. Again, I have not been to every one of the hearings that he's had, but I've been to a number of them. And that was the reason I was actually glad that COVID allowed this, because I could not travel from Dallas down to his hearing, but I could watch it online, and I was shocked and appalled. And then, with Mr. Champagne, I saw what happened with him when, as he mentioned, he was not involved with the group, but it turned out that he was able to use some of the knowledge in Austin. And there was a police officer that did the right thing, and I thought, and I even called the police department to tell them to commend the two police officers that went to help Mr. Champagne out, because they did the right thing. And it's really difficult because people like us, we are not rebels against our government. We want to support the government. I want to believe in the integrity of the judicial system and of law enforcement. And yet, from what I have seen time and time and time again, I have zero trust in the judiciary. In fact, it's negative. I recently told the judge that in the next 2 years, if you could bring me up to like level at zero, you'd be doing quite a job. But with law enforcement, and I've met some great law enforcement officers and everything. So It's just that I've seen times when, and I realize they're in a difficult position, and maybe the easiest thing to do is just write something and close the case, because judges tell us 67% of their cases have to deal with family law. And I'm sure when I've talked with police officers, they've said the calls that they hate are the domestic calls because they never know what they're walking into. And it
But
becomes
Jeff, if I can interrupt real quick,
absolutely
but that's an issue that's in Harris County that's big right now. A huge topic is that
right,
significant others are killing our children.
right,
Jeff knows the statistics, but I know that that little boy Olson, the mom was denied the ability with the court order to see her child, and then the child ended up dead in a motel in Orange, Texas, or something, in East Texas. And there's other there's been shootings at custody exchanges.
Chad Reed was one that was killed last year in Lubbock, and
Right.
you know, and this is not just a minor thing. I also work with a group that's national. Dad talked today. We've been to events in D.C. area. We've been in Florida. Be up at CPAC. We've talked with lots of legislators throughout the country about these issues. Put out some documentaries. The other, you know, when we see either a mother or a father being shot, often by a boyfriend who wants to or something like that, who has no right even being in the child's life except by virtue that he or she is now the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the fiance or whatever of the mother or the father, and then they fight and they shoot somebody and they kill them and they get to walk. This is appalling. The John Mass documentary, and this is not just a Texas issue, but I mean, I know what George was saying. He's talking about his issues and down here, but it is a very pervasive issue, and it's not just within Texas, and it's not just down, you know, where you are, but it's a big issue. So that's how I got involved with this. I've got a very strong justice bone in a sense, and I think that children need both parents. That's the bottom line. And as you said, Sheriff Diaz, how would you feel if you could not see your children? We have a judge here in Rockwall County, and great guy. And he said, I had no idea that the courts could abuse me so badly. And he's still the county judge. And seems to be no remedy at this. You know, we have a lot of people cheering us on in a sense because there are people that are afraid to say anything knowing that there's going to be retribution against them sometimes by the judge. I'm not in the position that I have to worry, which is one of the reasons why I've become a spokesman. And I want to just thank you, you know, for listening to Mr. Saldana and for having this meeting. Again, I at this personally to the same degree as these other gentlemen and this lady Jessie, it has not affected me to the same degree, but I've seen it, and it's completely wrong, and it's creating chaos in our society. So I mean, we look to you, you know, we look for guidance because, as George said, you know, none of us are attorneys or something like that. We're just trying to figure out. We've made a lot of noise. We've talked with a lot of people, but a lot of times it's like, well, we'll pass it to this person, pass it to that person, and just somebody to help us out. And that's why I'm very thankful that you've been so compassionate and so open and listening to everything. I'm going to stop right here because it's really George who's been the leader in this, and I would just want to thank him too publicly for the stuff that he's done. Anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Jeff, I appreciate the comments, and like I said, my email's there. So if y'all have other things that resources or stuff you can forward to us, it'd be helpful.